deposit money banks and other financial institutions to ensure that over-the-counter cash withdrawals by individuals and corporate entities per week do not exceed 100,000 naira and 500,000 naira, respectively. The directive, which the CBN says will take effect nationwide from January 9th, 2023, was contained in a circular issued by the Apex Bank on Tuesday. The CBN explained.
Hello everyone, good day according to your time. Welcome back to Learning is the Key. Hope you guys are doing well. Please, if you are seeing my channel for the first time, don't forget to subscribe and kindly hit on the notification button. Yes guys, hey, please share this video. It is really important, and leave your comments. Nigeria at it again. Well, for inside this video, when I want to give you una go see where comments they ask Tinubu make it come talk. Who be the Tinubu Ebona, and how which primary school he attend, and everything will be say they boast of. Now no say the man I be the what you call him, Papa will be say the cast, or will be say because the man is so proud, and when he want talk about waiting he don't achieve about his success, he's so sharp about doing it. But when they ask him questions, that's one part I don't understand. He just deviates the questions. He just put it like my team will answer. No, now. But when you go to London, the same you will be able to sit down like one-on-one to have a conversation. You couldn't do that with the Nigerians. The Nigeria that you say you want to represent, whenever they ask you to come, to come and also express yourself the way other candidates, they are doing it, you would just say, hey, you are busy, you have this, you have that. That's by the side, guys. A lot of things is really going on with the new Naira, the new Naira and the new taxes, and how Nigerian people are going to survive this. Because let's assume, if I have to be using my credit card in Nigeria, for instance, and at the time, or whenever I'm withdrawing, I have to be paying tax on it. How much are the median Nigeria people receiving? That's the question. And compared to the hardship, like the way things are expensive in Nigeria, how can they be paid all these taxes while Nigeria has not done anything so far to better their own status, like to give them good stand, to give them hope? There is nothing like that. But Nigeria is just coming up, pumping pressure on these people. See, me and tell now, there is one thing I so much believe in, because from what I'm seeing around the world today, 2022, we are almost 2023, from what I'm seeing is that there are a lot of countries where people think they are used to that system, but suddenly they will just come out and tell you, we never accept the system, but we never need problem. But now we don't have choice. If you want to kill us, kill us. So I believe that if Nigerians get really tired of this thing, it go tough, because go tough. Nigerians, they don't be quiet people at all. I know my people, they're not quiet. So I beg Mona see this video. Mona take una time. If you they do something where they do, just put this video. May you for understand them the reason why you need to know something is wrong with Nigeria right now. Nigeria as a country, they're sick.
That after the policy takes effect, all cash withdrawals in excess of the stated limits will attract processing fees of 5% and 10% respectively. The move by the CBN is set to help tackle vote buying as the 2023 general election draw near, and to control the amount of cash in circulation. Well, let's take some reactions. This is from Temi, who wrote, I have never been more proud of Godwin Emefiele in one fell swoop. He is frustrating those who intend to win next year's elections with their bullion vans, dealing with huge cash sprayers, making ransom payment more difficult, disincentivizing cash robbery, suffocating launderers. While Nefertiti wrote, with the new CBN cashless policy, please do not get kidnapped in Nigeria. You won't be able to have access to large cash unless you're a politician with access. The cashless policy is good in curbing vote buying, but it will kill a lot of ATM vendorship and micro businesses. Dr. Abati, you're the first person I thought about when I saw this, cashless policy circulating on social media, because, as we call you, what do we call you? A dinosaur, you don't do cash transfer. Every time I see Dr. Abati, he has his checkbook, and I'm like, what are you doing?
Don't worry. Yeah. I think eventually all of us will come round. and begin to embrace electronic banking.
Right.
The policy of the CBN is to encourage financial inclusion, to encourage electronic banking, to promote the idea of cashless economy, to bring back into the vaults of banks the over 2.7 trillion out there, which the CBN governor disclosed in October, on October 26th to be precise, when he said there was 3.7 trillion in circulation, and they need to bring in the 2.7 trillion outside, which was the original idea behind the redesign of the 200 naira, 500 naira, and 1,000 naira notes. So, and of course, we have argued this before, that within the purview of Section 9 of the CBN Act, all of this is a legitimate thing to do. The responsibility of the CBN is to manage monetary policy and ensure financial stability, integrity, and act as the regulator of the banks. So fine, they've not done anything that is outside the purview of their responsibilities. But you are talking about reactions.
Yes.
Now, earlier on, I said, one, how about small and medium-scale business?
Right.
That rely heavily on cash? That could be an issue. Two, I said the CBN will also need to educate people more, to sensitize them. Three, the CBN in insisting on due diligence, KYC, know your customer, a collection of strategic information. We also have to oversee the banks so that we don't go to the banks and the banks will become, police stations where they are inquiring into things that do not concern them. Four, some people are saying maybe the CBN needs to give people more time. Maybe January 9 is too close. One other reaction that I have seen, five, I mentioned it earlier, but I've now seen an article to that effect by Frank Tietie. Mm-hmm. Frank Tietie, in a piece titled CBN Policy is a Violation of Human Rights, and I think it's already on social media, is saying that, look, what the CBN is trying to do, we erode bank secrecy and erode confidence in the banking system. But isn't that what the CBN itself wants to address? That, look, people should not hide money anyhow.
Correct.
The state wants to know the source of your money, how much you have. They want to see it inside the system. But he thinks that that could be a violation of the individual rights of persons to control how they spend their money. Mm. And in any case, if you say people will have to pay 5% in surcharge or 10% in surcharge if they go beyond a particular limit, that is not fair. That is like the state trying to play the big brother, monitoring, people's money. But, as I said earlier on, the international financial system is rules-based, okay? And Nigeria cannot be outside that rules, regulated system. And that was why I said, the CBN has not done anything out of place. But maybe the CBN needs to sensitize the public more, and maybe the CBN needs to pay more attention to some of these reactions. If there is anything they can pay attention to, either in terms of how the banks comply and, how people react to it when they begin to experience it. And then they appoint that any bank official that is and abets the contravention of the law will be sanctioned. What are those sanctions? Those sanctions have not been listed. We would like to know, so that there will be no draconian measures being adopted. But you also made the point that this is to check vote buying.
Yes. Okay,
the election is in February and March. So after the election, if the target is to check vote buying, would the CBN then say, okay,
we are
changing the policy again? Because in the past, we've seen policies this way, that way.
But the question also is, how do you enforce this policy? Because it's not a new policy. The CBN has always advocated for a cashless policy as well. But also some of the reactions, as we mentioned earlier, some of them were saying, don't get kidnapped because obviously, you won't have cash in circulation. But I do applaud this move. But another issue is the small businesses.
Absolutely. So that was Nefertiti who said that, and absolutely, there are also analysts or commenters who had mentioned that rather than, as we had with the redesign notes, where we heard that kidnappers, there were stories around kidnappers asking that if you're going to pay ransom from now on, make sure it's in the new design notes, so that in terms of tackling that, there are bigger issues to face than beyond just monetary policies like this. Beyond that, we have seen, yes, significant numbers of people who are now embracing e-payment channels, digital banks. In the UK, we see physical banks closing down as more people are embracing. HSBC just closed about over 100 branches recently because people are embracing digital bank. We cannot also take away the impact of COVID. COVID gave us an opportunity, especially in the banking system in Nigeria, to develop our e-payment platforms because more people access this. They use more USSD transactions, POS transactions. We had the agent banking, the rise in agent banking, but that's even an issue with this one. But beyond that, Oji, one of the things that I'd seen, a comment I'd seen was also around bank charges for transfers. So if you don't want us to withdraw money off the counter, then perhaps CBN also has to review bank charges. Currently, bank transfers, if you're transferring below 5,000 naira for every transaction, you pay 10 naira. If you're transacting between 5,000 naira and 50,000 naira for every transaction, you pay 26 naira. If you're transferring above 50,000 naira for every transaction, you pay 15 naira. I don't know about you, but every time I have to transfer to another bank, I'm hurt when I see an additional deduction or debit saying that I've paid this amount of money. Now, if you have large sums of money in your account, it would be negligible. But here we're looking at small business owners, like we've said. You're looking at the average Nigerian, the market woman, whom would not want that, because if you're going to transfer from one bank to another, they're going to deduct further. Even if it's in 10s or 26 or 15, it still amounts to something at the end of the month. Yeah. So perhaps side by side this policy, the CBN should also be looking at perhaps lifting the transfer charges or further reducing it.
Well said, guys. We'll take another story. The presidential candidate of the All Progressives Congress, Bola Ahmed Tinubu, has stirred up another controversy on social media after revealing in a television interview that his source of wealth is from real estate. The interview, which was conducted by Peter Okoche of the British Broadcasting Corporation, was aired on Tuesday after Tinubu's controversial Chatham House meeting in the United Kingdom. Tinubu's source of wealth has been queried over the years following numerous allegations that have been levied against him. During the interview, the former Lagos State governor claimed that since he left office, he has not gotten a government appointment or contract, stating that he was the most investigated and most accused governor in opposition during his tenure in office because of envy. Let's take a look before we take some reactions.
I inherited great real estate. I turned the values around. I'm not denying my wealth. I've not been, I was the most investigated, the most accused governor in the opposition up to, for 8 years and up to 2007. And since I left the office, I'm still there. I've not taken any government appointment, no government contract.
Yes, but some say the legacy you left in Lagos State was that, you were getting a share of the revenue that Lagos State was generating.
Hey, excuse me, share what? Have they proven it? The World Bank has, IMF has investigated the record in Lagos. What's wrong with them?
And I want to move away from that.
It's envy.
Well, a lot of people have applauded this interview. They have said that he's answered, the question regarding his wealth. But others have also said there are more questions here. We'll take Shobi's tweet, who wrote, "What did you invest in to make the money? Under which entity? Show us your financial books. Which of the Tinubus is your father? Which primary school and secondary school did you attend? Why did you forfeit money to the US government?" Those are the questions we want answered. Dr. Abati, really quickly.
Many of the claims made by Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu, you can expect that both the opposition and other stakeholders, they will fact check him. They will raise questions, as that Shubili has done in that tweet that you quoted.
Yes.
Whether indeed it is true that it's not peddling influence, whether it's a man that turned the Lagos state single-handedly into a modern state, and whether, you know, it doesn't benefit anything from the Lagos state government. But the main lesson out of all of this is that when you say you want to be president of Nigeria or of any country, you know, then of course you must be ready to answer questions, to talk to the public, to present your agenda, and not to unnecessarily discriminate in so doing. Because there are other persons who have said, okay, because he's BBC, he has made himself available for a conversation, even if the anchor person is one of our own, a Nigerian. Now, why is he not so available like that, you know, to media back home? So that question has also been raised. But the other thing that people have not forgotten about is, you know, the Chatham House event, where Asiwaju Bola Ahmed Tinubu hijacked the role of the moderator, as given a helpline, or you are asked to call a friend to come and bail you out. So that other matter is still there.
He came with his helpline.
And it's not likely to go away. But all of this is healthy.
Yeah.
You know, people will raise questions, they will ask questions, because the people have the right to know.
Right. Well, in another development, a lawmaker, Alhassan Ado Doguwa of the All Progressives Congress, in a video that has now gone viral, threatened to deal mercilessly with Nigerians who would not vote for the ruling party in 2023. Well, in the video, the lawmaker, who is the majority leader in the House of Representatives, repeated the threat as hordes of his supporters chorused in support of him. I don't know if you saw that video, Ayo.
Yes,
but I mean, it was
gosh, you know, I mean, you see
that
all sorts of things during election season, and things that should be seen, and things that should literally not be seen. I don't know what the Honourable Member Doguwa was thinking when he was speaking to the people and speaking very confidently. We've talked about the conduct of candidates, their surrogates, members of the parties during election cycles like this. It is he's a man of influence, and obviously with the number of people that were gathered around him, all listening to him, you know, eating up his words, he does have some measure of influence. That is a threat. And I'd like to see more and more that there should be consequences for statements like this. You shouldn't be getting away with statements like this. You know, in the same way that I would ask you that why would you, that's tantamount to threatening and saying that people should not exercise their electoral rights.
Right. Well, more on threats. The Rivers State Governor, Nyesom Wike on Tuesday, urged the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, Atiku Abubakar, to caution members of the Presidential Campaign Council of the party to desist from attacking G5 governors. The Rivers State Governor made the statement at a road commissioning in Rivers State. He warned that those attacking the G5 governors will attract the wrath of the group, as they will not hesitate to strike back. Let's take a look.
Now, what I want to tell the presidential candidate of PDP, we mean peace. We want all of us to be together for the party to win an election. But let me say clearly, if your boys again continue to attack the G5, continue to attack the leaders of our party, we will strike back. We will strike back. If anybody again dares in the PDP Presidential Campaign Council to insult the PDP governors of G5, insult our leaders of Integrity Group, we will fight back. Enough is enough. Enough is enough. We want peace. All we want, equity, fairness, and what? Justice. Nobody should take us for granted. I cannot understand people who just left APC 2 days ago, 2 weeks ago, are talking about PDP, that we stayed and suffered to build the party.
All right, Dr. Bati, over to you.
Okay, I mean, both the Doguwa case, Doguwa threatening people,
yes,
that if they don't vote for APC, they will be dealt with, and Governor Wike talking about miscreants and striking back at people. I think these politicians, all of them, they need to study the Electoral Act 2022. Many of them are misbehaving. Section 92 of the Electoral Act 22 talks about public conduct at political gatherings and rallies.
Absolutely.
And Section 92 says use of abusive language or hate or issuance of threat is an offense. The punishment is prescribed under Section 92 subsection 7 and Section 93 subsection 2 to the effect that you could be fined 1 million naira or 500,000, or you could be imprisoned for 12 months for using abusive language, for behaving in an aggressive manner. It remains for the police to begin to enforce the law.
Well said, Dr.
I hope the law will be enforced.
Well said.
In Governor Wike's case, he has immunity. But Honorable Doguwa does not have immunity.
Absolutely.
The law should be enforced. People should not be violating the law with impunity.
I like that. Well, thank you both for your great analysis, as always. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. I'll see you all tomorrow.